to the profit and loss now. So the first item that I put in there for incomes is going to be shop profit that I've just calculated, and then I'll look at clients' fees. And now we have 330, 500. Now we need to take into account any fees that were in arrears at the beginning and the end. Stock of heating oil, creditors, supplies, investment, contact cleaning, clients' deposits paid in advance, £6,000. So from sorry, back to that. So where there's clients' fees of £6,000 paid in advance. Let's quickly check clients' deposits paid in advance. So that's nothing to do. That was paid last year for this year, so that's going to be used up this year. So it's going to be an income of this year. Nothing else there at the beginning for prepaids, cleaning contract. Clients' fees included six for 2014. So we have 6,500, which is a prepaid for next year. So I'm going to take that out. And then we've got clients' fees at the end of this year due, which should have been paid. So I'm going to add that in as well. Okay, right, that's clients' fees. Investment income. Now, it was very easy for us to take the 1,200, but we need to just double check, did we get the right amount of money for investments? 5% investments, 40 grand. So that means that I should have received 40 grand multiplied by 5% for the full year. Now, just making sure that the investments weren't taken out partway through the year. No, it's assumed that the investments are for a full year. So the income should have been 40 grand times 5%, which is 2,000. The fact that we only received 1,200 means there must be investment income due at the end. So I'm going to put that in as a current asset. So that's 800 because 1,200 was what came in. And while I'm at it, down here in my balance sheet, we have a balance carried down on the debit side, which means we'll have a credit balance or a liability, a bank overdraft as a current liability. Bank overdraft is 135. Okay, back up to my income and expenditures. So those are my only incomes so far. So expenses. So we've got laundry, 2,500. So I just double check. Do I see anything here about laundry due or laundry prepaid? There isn't. And if I find it, I'll come back and I'll change this number, but I'm going to put this number in to start with. So telephone. So the phone figure was 1,600, but we already had some of the phones. So 500 of that phone was to do with the shop. So we'll take that out of the general expenses. Wages and salaries. Now, so wages and salaries is going to be, I'll put the numbers in. So 85,400. Minus, now how much did I put in here for wages? 8,800, so I'll take that away. Repayment of loan interest, I've dealt with that. Equipment, that's going to be in the balance sheet. So I see that I've already made a mistake there with my balance sheet number, so I'm going to go back and fix that number now. So equipment is 70,000. and just quickly check out of cost for a full year. Okay, so that means I'm going to go and cross up the 70,000 and add in 15 grand. So that means that makes it 85,000. And my depreciation expense for this year will be now. So my accumulated depreciation is going to be 70,000 times 30%. So that's 3 years for the equipment that I had before this year, plus the plus 85,000 times 0.1. Just double check that, yeah, because that's the value. So that's this year's depreciation and that's the previous year's depreciation all added up. So that means that my depreciation of equipment here is going to be, yep, that's 85,000 times 0.1, so that's correct. Okay, new extension. So new extension happened during this year, so that means my buildings and grounds have also gone up. So we're going to have the same situation here. So I'm going to have to fix this number. So it's going to be 620 plus 230, which is 850. So the depreciation expense then is going to be 620 times 0.06. So that's 3 years of 2% at the old figure, plus the figure for this year, which is going to be 850 times 0.02. That's this year's depreciation. Yeah, that's, do I have, no, this zero there. Yep. So the depreciation of buildings then is going to be 850 times 0.02. So again, in the exam, you just cross off the number that I originally had written down, and then I put this number in. That's the easiest way I find to do it. Like I do occasionally forget things when I'm doing the question myself, but this is the way that makes sure that if you're systematic and you're just going through this list, you're less likely to actually forget things. So we've got new extension, now we've got a new vehicle of 50 grand. So that's on top of the vehicles that we had already that were traded in. So we bought another vehicle as well. So that vehicle is going to have to be depreciated as well. Now, so the figure we had already plus the new vehicle 50 grand times 0.02, 2% depreciation. Now, it doesn't tell us when I bought. So I know we bought one new vehicle 59, and this is another new vehicle we bought. It doesn't tell us when we bought it, so I'm going to have to give it a full year's depreciation. So that's what I've done there. And depreciation of vehicles is going to be that number plus 50 grand times 0.2. Yeah, just make sure I've done that right. Yeah. No, vehicle depreciation is 0.2. Is that correct? I'm not sure there is. Let's go back up and have a quick look. So my depreciation, oh yeah. So the accumulated depreciation was 45,900, so that is correct. Plus 10% of 50 grand. Makes 55,900, so that is correct. Okay. Now contract cleaning, and I know there's prepaids and dues to deal with that, so I'll put this in here. So contract cleaning is 3,600, and then let's look at the top. Contract cleaning prepaid, so we'll add in the prepaid of 400 at the beginning. So that's up the top here. And then cleaning is under contract payable monthly in advance. There's a payment of 500 for January 2000. So I'm going to take that out because that's a prepaid for next year. And I might as well put that in. Put that in here. Nothing else. Creditors. Nope. Okay. Light and heat. So that is light and heat. 3,400. There was there a stock? There was a stock of heating oil, so I'm going to include that into this year. Stock of heating oil at the beginning. No electricity bills due or anything. No. Stock of heating oil 600 at the end, so that's a prepaid for next year. So I'm going to take that out of this year and put that into next year. Just making sure, and also the light and heat is 400 of the light and heat is going to be taken out as expense and sent to the shop. Okay, credit for supplies, electricity due. Oh, okay, right. So electricity due is 360, so it has to be added on again to light and heat. So. Oh, I just realised here, I'm just looking at the vehicles. An allowance of 5 grand was 9 grand was given to the old vehicle against a vehicle costing 59. So that means that 50 grand that I have for vehicles in here is the figure I paid for the new vehicle. It's not another new vehicle. So I made a mistake on that one. So I'm just going to go fix that. So the original figure there for the depreciation expense was all correct. I don't need to add in that 50 grand in there, my mistake. And I need to take out the depreciation of that because that was for the vehicles that I already had dealt with, so my mistake. So that's that fixed. Sorry if that caused confusion. Next one, back to, we've done light and heat, and we're now on to insurance. So the insurance is 6.8, and there was no insurance prepaid or due at the beginning, nothing at the end. The only thing for insurance, 800 of the insurance is for the shop. So that means 6 grand is the insurance. Okay, so purchase the shop we've dealt with, so we've got purchase of supplies. So our supplies, so we're going to have creditors and things like that to take into account, and we also have, do we have stock of the shop, do we have stock of supplies? I'll have a look at that as I go through it. So supplies is 35,400. We have creditors for supplies is 1,600. So that was money that was due for last year, so I'm going to take it out of this year. And that's last year's figure. So that's money that we owed for last year. Nothing else at the beginning, down to the end. Fees due from clients, wages and salaries, creditors for supplies, 2,500. So that's extra money that we owe. So I'm going to add that in. So we should have, that was money we were charged this year, but we didn't pay it. Okay, so 35,400 minus 1,600 and then plus 2,500. And I don't see a stock of supplies. nothing left over. Okay, so that should be all of our expenses then taken into account. All our incomes, all our expenses. So we'll add up and find the difference, and that works out our profit.